Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing the second Sonic movie, and I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy. The movie was really good. If you haven't seen it, if you're having doubts about it because it's Sonic, you know how people think every show of Sonic is bad, every movie is bad, every game is bad. It's obviously not true, but there are people who think this way. And if you're one of them, I strongly suggest you watch it because I think you'll be happy. And even for people who didn't really like the first one, I'm actually one of those people. Like, I didn't hate the first one, but if you watched my review on it, go take a look if you haven't seen it before. I did explain that my issues with it was that it didn't really feel like a Sonic movie. You know, like, yeah, it was a Sonic movie with Sonic, but it didn't actually feel like Sonic. It just felt like a movie who happened to have Sonic in it. I hated Robotnik's appearance. It was terrible. In my previous video, I talked a lot about the fact that Jim was not wearing a fat suit, but even aside from that, he had a full head of hair, a black small mustache. Like, it was just bad, okay? And my other issue with the original movie was that Sonic wasn't really acting like Sonic. He was just depressed and miserable. He wasn't cocky like he's supposed to be. It's kind of what his character is based on, you know? And a lot of things just were not referencing Sonic. But it was still a good movie, and people actually loved it, despite it not being very accurate. This movie, they put a lot more effort into making it actually feel like a Sonic movie, and they did. Pretty much the entire movie takes most of its inspiration from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That's what we see for almost all of it. You know, we got it starting off in the mushroom rock road, whatever the first level of Sonic 3 is. That's where it starts. So again, Sonic 3. The story is based around the Master Emerald and Sonic and Knuckles fighting, which is also Sonic 3. Robotnik's huge Death Egg robot at the end of the movie is based on the final boss of Sonic 3. There are, of course, a lot of things in the movie that are references to multiple games, actually, but most of it is based on Sonic 3. Here's all the references I noticed, by the way, in the movie. I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown. I loved how the coffee shop was named Mean Bean, based off of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean machine, which is a lesser-known game, so I was pretty happy they brought that in. If you look at Sonic's pose when he jumps in the bar, he's doing the literal, like, stupid pointing thing from Sonic Adventure, the cover of Sonic Adventure. Gun was mentioned. They were like the military people. Their like organization was called Gun, which, as you know, if you've played City Escape on Sonic Generations or Sonic Adventure 2, they are literally referred to as Gun. Not just the truck, but the entire people. I liked how they referenced that he can't swim. He even sucked in an air bubble just like he does in the game. It is kind of funny when you realize, though, that the only game he can swim in is Colors. I don't know why, but I mean, it's not technically swimming, but in Colors, if you just keep jumping, he can go up, whereas in every other game besides Colors, if he jumps, he just comes straight back down, right? But I guess technically that's considered swimming? I don't know. But yeah, he can't swim in the movie. Early in the movie, when he's in the house, he's riding on a skateboard, and it's hard to see, or I just may not have been looking correctly at that time, but I could have sworn on the bottom of the skateboard was an image of Sonic Mania. When they were on the mountain, it's a reference to the Ice Cap intro on, like, when he takes a piece of the mech and uses it as a skateboard. That was Ice Cap Zone, which again is Sonic 3. The pyramid where the Master Emerald was staying, to me at first, like when I saw the outside of the pyramid, it reminded me of the pyramid from Sonic Adventure, but what it ended up actually being was Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1. But in my opinion, honestly, it kind of looked like a combination of Labyrinth Zone and this level from Sonic Adventure 1. I mean, if you were to, like, fuse these two levels together, this is what it looks like. That and Labyrinth Zone. So that's how I viewed, where the Master Emerald was. Taking a look here, the audience gave it a 97%, which I'm not entirely sure, but it actually might be the highest rated video game movie of all time. Which, yeah, there's not much competition here because, as we all know, video game movies always always do horribly. I mean, just look at, for God's sakes, Mario can't even have a good movie. The Prince of Persia movie from years ago was a piece of crap. I don't think there's ever been a good video game movie ever. And Sonic 1 at the time was considered the best video game movie of all time, and Sonic Movie 2 is even better. So this really exceeded a lot of expectations, just the expectations of Sonic being bad in general. Then, of course, the expectation of, oh, it's a video game movie that'll fail on that as well. But it ended up being, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, video game movies of all time. Which, again, is not a huge accomplishment, because most of them are terrible, but either way, it still did a great job. Anyway, let's move on to talk about the characters now. I felt Robotnik was way better this time. Of course, I'm not just referring to appearance, because the appearance was better. Jim was still not wearing a fat suit, but that's fine, because everything else was great. The face was great, being bald, the mustache, the goggles, even the outfit was pretty damn good. And at one point, it's really hard to notice, it was during the coffee shop scene, you could actually see them changing his outfit, and one of them was actually a fat suit, but it quickly changes and looked kind of like a Megamind outfit. It was really weird. I think that was kind of like an Easter egg. But yeah, that was there, and all that was fine. But what I liked the most was Robotnik's personality. In the first movie, and I said this in my previous video, I felt like he was just being Jim Carrey, almost like just doing one of his already existing characters, like Ace Ventura or something. I kind of wish he had that more raspy voice to kind of match Robotnik. And if he was doing something similar to his Grinch voice, he probably could have actually gotten away with it. Unfortunately, Jim Carrey did stick with his real voice, which is fine. It obviously didn't match Robotnik, but it still worked out pretty well. And I think what I liked the most was just the personality, right? How Eggman is just an asshole, but also a buffoon at the same time. I think he captured that really well. As for Tails, apparently we've cemented him as just being a needy, whiny bitch. I mean, ever since Colors, that's all he's been. Colors, Generations, Lost World, Forces, that's all Tails has been, and it seems like they're cementing him as that, just being a needy bitch. And I don't know why. I mean, he wasn't always like this. In Sonic Adventure, 06 and stuff, he was not a needy bitch. He was able to fight and look after himself. But ever since Colors, that's what we're doing. Apparently, that's the decision that we've made with Tails. I don't know why, but that's what they did. He's now just a needy bitch. I need Sonic all the time. Help me, save me. And it's so bad. But other than that, I liked Tails. He looked great. Flying the plane was cool. He did some fighting towards the end. It wasn't much, but it was better than nothing. I liked his little yellow machine that he has in the games, like Unleashed, Forces, and Colors. That was all really cool. So Tails wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible either. Moving on to Knuckles, he was great. He was actually almost the best out of all three of them. Because he had, no issues at all. Everything about him was perfect. And what I liked about Knuckles especially was that, as far as the games go, he's been pushed to the side. A lot. Ever since Sonic 06, he's barely been around. Unleashed, he wasn't there at all. Colors, he wasn't there at all. Generations, just cutscenes, and very few of them. Lost World, just the beginning and end cutscene. Forces, a stupid commander who was also just in cutscenes and dialogue. They really nerfed Knuckles in the games, but I think the movie brought him back in a really, really good and powerful way. And finally, Sonic. Sonic is good. Much better than he was in the first movie. He's still a little bit whiny, but it's barely noticeable now. He's a lot more happy, more focused on just power, fighting, speed. There were a lot of moments, especially early in the movie, with incredibly juvenile, childish jokes again, but after the first, half an hour, we don't see pretty much any dumb jokes anymore. There are some dumb jokes, but they're not, eye-rollingly stupid. They're just that was a dumb joke because the movie's for kids. But early in the movie, they're like eyes in the back of your head, eye-roll stupid. and juvenile. So I really didn't like the early jokes, especially when Robotnik flossed. But for the most part, Sonic was good. I really liked his character development from the first movie. And finally, the last thing about characters is the human characters. Unlike the first movie, again, they take a massive backseat, and the focus is almost completely on Robotnik's friend, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And the humans kind of just stick with their role at the wedding. And a lot of people did complain, saying that the wedding was pointless and shouldn't have been there, a waste of time. And while I'll agree that the wedding was pointless, it didn't feel like it overpowered any other aspect of the movie to me. It didn't overstay its welcome, so I was fine with it. And one other thing I want to mention about the characters, can you imagine what would have happened if they hadn't changed the characters? Because originally, right, all we had seen was this really creepy sex offender looking Sonic, right? But imagine if that style of look went to everyone else. Imagine like baby Sonic looking like that, or Tails and Knuckles looking like that. Like, it scares me to think of what they would have looked like had the appearance not been changed in the first movie. And for those of you thinking, well, maybe Sonic would have stayed looking ugly, but Knuckles and Tails would have looked like they actually do in the movie, I disagree, because then Sonic would have looked off while Tails and Knuckles look different. They were probably going to do something similar to Tails and Knuckles had they not changed Sonic in the first one, and it scares me to think of what that would have been. Good God. Just to give you something to look at, I'll play the trailer here because I can't show any footage without being copyrighted, so anyway, more things to bring up. The Supersonic thing at the end was fantastic. I loved the way that the Emeralds did their little spin thing to power up Sonic and turn him yellow. That was really awesome. And the part where Supersonic destroyed the Death Egg's arms reminded me of the intro scene to Sonic Unleashed when Robotnik grabs him and then explodes the arms. It actually kind of reminded me of that. Did anybody else feel the same way? Another thing about it is there's going to be a third movie. We were left with a cliffhanger at the end of the movie with Shadow. And a side note, by the way, is that recently Jim Carrey said that he wants to retire. But if there's going to be a third movie, he can't retire yet. And if he does retire and we use someone else to play the part of Robotnik, that will just fucking ruin it for, I think, everybody. But regardless, there is a cliffhanger for Shadow at the end. And when I saw Shadow, I realized there's someone else we haven't seen that I really hope we do see in the third movie. Metal Sonic. We, really need to see Metal Sonic, and I hope we do. But yeah, overall, the movie was really good. They did all the references good, they did the story good, they implemented Sonic 3 and other Sonic games really well. The story was good, the dialogue was pretty good, the characters and animation was all good. Like, it's a good movie, and I really also loved the Death Egg robot in that final fight. It just looked so fucking good. And the fact that it was based on the Sonic 3 final boss was also awesome. So, yeah, I mean, this to me, unlike the first movie, did not just feel like a movie with Sonic. It felt like an actual Sonic movie based on the video games. The only thing that was not changed that I complained about in the first movie was that Robotnik's mechs don't look like the mechs from the games. I was hoping they would in this movie, but they don't. Aside from that, though, it was really good, and I'm very happy I saw it. They did a great job, and I think it has potential to be the greatest video game movie of all time. What do you guys think?